All right, man. Peace. It's Bronzebird here with another video. Make sure you like and subscribe. So, um, I've been paying attention to what's been going on with the media, such as so. They have this case going on with Andrea Serrano, in which those who don't know who Andrea Serrano is a 31-year-old woman from the state of Colorado who had admitted that she had sexual relations with a 13-year-old boy and got pregnant by that boy and gave birth to his child. And so a lot of questions go into what has been happening with the whole entire court proceedings, in which she definitely understands she is guilty, but everybody, I guess, around the country is wondering why she doesn't face any jail time, especially because she had sex with an underage boy. Now, we know nationally, usually the age of consent is 17 years old. But the fact of the matter is that if this is an open shut case, and the fact of the matter is she definitely violated the age of consent, why is she not facing any jail time? Now, there's going to be certain things in this video. I'm going to go over certain things that, you should be aware about in this case. And this is not for me to, say it's okay that she didn't get jail time. I don't even understand why she didn't get jail time herself. And, the courts will say that she had agreed to a plea deal in which she was able to access lesser charges. Still, to the fact of the matter, she still has to register herself as a sex offender, and that it is possible that she could have life or a 10-year sentence to having to be under strict probation. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you what's going on. We're going to read this article together. So Pete. So right here it says no jail time for woman who admitted having sex with 13-year-old having his baby. Shout outs to Matt. Colorado Springs, Colorado, a 31-year-old who admitted to having sex with a 13-year-old boy and then becoming pregnant with his child won't face any jail time under a plea deal with prosecutors. KKTV reports Andrea Serrano of Fountain, Colorado, was facing sexual assault charges after arrest in 2022, but earlier this year accepted a new plea deal to stay out of prison. Serrano gave birth to the baby boy after she admitted to having sex with the 13-year-old. The mother of the victim told KKTV she is not happy with the plea deal. She's not happy with the deal offered to a woman she says ruined her son's life. I feel like my son is robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father. He's a victim, and he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life, the victim's mother said. She questions why Serrano won't face prison time. I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different, which is true. They would be seeking more. I feel like because he is not a woman, they are not. They are having compassion for her, the victim's mother said. Under terms of the plea deal reviewed by KKTV and that the suspect signed off on, Serrano will be required to register as a sex offender, and a judge could sentence her to 10 years to life on sex offender intensive supervised probation. Serrano will avoid any jail time since the district attorney's office dropped the original charges to a lesser charge that does not come with mandatory jail time. The victim's family is looking ahead to the next steps in this case. They plan on asking the courts to give the 13-year-old custody of the baby. Currently, Serrano has custody. Serrano will find out in May how long she'll be on probation. And, what's really funny about that is, yes, when you see exactly what's going on, in my mind, there's no way that this woman should not serve for, she should serve for prison. Absolutely. But we want to go over the original charges of Andrea Serrano, in which we start to get a defined idea about what's going on with this case. And I don't even understand why they decided, the prosecutors, to do a lesser charge, but let's just go over the original charges. So right here it says, Andrea Serrano was charged by the Fountain Police with sexual assault on a child by one in a position of trust, as well as sexual assault on a child. She was facing sexual assault charges post her arrest in 2022. So what we want to do is we want to go over the definition of a position of trust. And right here it says the position of trust is a legal term defined in the Sexual Offenses Act 2003. In Section 2022, it is explained as an adult caring for, training, supervising, or being in sole charge of a child under the age of 18. Now, the funny thing about this position of trusting as terms is the situation that she had expressed to the prosecutors. She had said that the 13-year-old boy was living with her, which is weird because the fact of the matter is I was under the impression still by reviewing this case that the young boy was still living with his mother. So the idea about it is probably the 13-year-old was seeing this 31-year-old on his off days out of school. What was the whole entire thing? Now, still trying to wrap into the story, there hasn't been too much explained as far as I'm concerned with what's been going on. But let's go on into what it says as the age of consent, especially because by the national standard in the United States, the age of consent is 17 years old. Now, check this out. We got to look at the penalties, right? So sexual assault, 4 years close in age exemption. Section 18.3.402 CRS class 4 felony. Individual who is at least 4 years older has sex with a minor who is under 15 years old. Sexual assault, 10-year close in age exemption. Section 18.3.402 CRS class 1 misdemeanor. Individual who is at least 10 years older has sex with a minor between the ages of 15 and 17. Does not apply. This is the direct one in which we need to pay attention to, which is the position of trust. Sexual assault on a child, position of trust. Section 18.3.405.3 CRS, class 3 felony and class 4 felony, which was the charge that Andrea Serrano was facing. Individual in a position of trust has sex with a minor who is 14 years or younger, class 3, or between the ages of 15 and 17, class 4. Now, in my idea, it would serve as a class 3 felony because the fact of the matter is the child was 13 years old. She was 31, which is an 18-year difference, right? And so going into this, we also have to pay attention to this. Now, this is something that doesn't have to deal with the case itself, but just looking at the different laws in the state of Colorado, especially when it comes to sexual consent, they have something as much as the Romeo and Juliet law, which is usually confined to the idea of people or young adults, children being closer in age to each other, being able to have sex, right? So it says this. In Colorado, the age of consent to have sex legally is 17 years old. However, there is also a close in age exemption, which is the Romeo and Juliet law, by which a 15 or 16-year-old may legally consent to sex with someone less than 10 years old, and minors 14 and younger may legally consent to sex with someone less than 4 years older. Otherwise, having sex with a non-spouse under the age of 17 constitutes the crime of statutory rape. And the funny thing about this is I had thought of the lesser charges that came with. They had said that, you know, having a baby or whatever. I had thought to myself, maybe they went with the lesser charge because she had his child. But even with that, when it comes to rape charges themselves, that wouldn't constitute because a woman can still go to prison and pregnant, right? So the thing about it is, this is all the weird case. It does usually work out to the point that the court systems does try to work in a woman's favor and, you know, find ways where a woman does not go to prison for having sex with a minor. And it gets real weird in this world because would she be called a MAP? A minor attracted person for having sex with a 13-year-old boy and having his baby. It's weird how these things works. But my honest opinion about it is it does work to the fact of the matter. She does have to register as a sex offender. I do think that she should have jail time. But at the same time, understanding the courts, would it be different if it was a man having sex with an underage girl? It would be different. They would jail him. They would find those charges, and he would have to go as statutory rape. But otherwise than that, that's just my opinion on the whole entire subject matter. Give your thoughts in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.